And I think we can spin it that way if you'd like
Yeah.
to sponsor one.
Yeah,
Right.
Well, let's talk about.
okay.
Okay.
So the third one, I think there'll be a couple little changes to what Randy submitted. When he and I talked earlier today, we were talking about the streetlights, and but on the request, he put streetlights in fire hydrants, and those are actually, the fire hydrants was a different amount and a different code. And I didn't realize that you were submitting both. So the fire hydrants is actually 7,500 on top of the 35,000, and it's a different code. It's a 4901. It's out of the other fund.
So can we?
Because streetlights is one of the allowable ones in the 4902.
Correct.
But the fire hydrants is not. So it has to go out of the 4901 code. So we
will
have a
need to-
different.
Sorry, will we need to do a new spending request?
Well, we could modify this one. The other thing that came up was the company, Static Pro, or Static All Pro. They did a couple in 21.
Fall of 2021, they did all the ones along Worcester.
And
And
apparently,
throughout the square as well.
Right.
Yeah.
and apparently
Well-
some of those are peeling already.
Yes, they are. There's at least two that are appealing considerably.
So one of the things that I suggested that we might be able to change in this is just take out the name and do a blanket. Because we approved the 35,000 to do the streetlights with our capital project. So we could do a blanket without a name, and then as we approve, if we approve a different vendor, we could still pay it out of the blanket purchase order. But again, it's over 5,000, so that blanket would have to be approved today.
Yeah.
And then there was some other questions that Kelly had asked me prior to the meeting. So I said, well, why don't you just ask them here, and we can
Sure.
get on the same page, so.
Okay. I guess as you know, this is in the Public Works Committee.
Right.
So I'm just trying to delineate between this and where it fits in with the Public Works Committee work. But the one question I had was, it says the painting and preparation of the historic streetlights. At first I thought it said historic district, but it says historic streetlights. So I just kind of want to clarify what that means.
Well, there are, if you look at, and I sent you that Excel file,
Yes, I've got
there are, how many? A dozen streetlights. The two lights out here are newer and black, and they're not historic. There's a wood one on Sheldon Close that is different. The ones at Hopkins Park are different. So this is the traditional historic streetlights, the ones that MPF did as their first project, and I think in 1982 was when they did it. I mean, there's,
That was way before my time.
yeah. So they're, well, you're
I was still
MPF,
in
so-
high school.
So it's, so, and I don't know if I've ever
Wanna-
seen, so this is the master list of all of them.
This is
Okay.
120.
And
Yeah,
what's
100
the,
yep.
is the color coding indicate?
The color coding, these down at the bottom have been painted,
And the ones in the,
and again,
It says complete here.
complete. And if I may, they were all adopted. that
okay, good,
$500.
then that
So-
would be to the next
So
question.
that was, and then if you go up the red one, I mean, these right here are ready.
They're also
They've been
yellow here.
adopted, but they've not been, as of last week, they did paint this week, so some of these, I don't know which of these go off the list. And these here, for instance, there's one on the square that's gray, that's right in front of the theater. We don't need to paint that again. So
Also, the
those
gray
are the
means they've
ones,
already been painted.
those are the ones that don't need to be painted,
In the blue?
in the blue.
Okay, when you say the one in front, because the ones that they painted in the fall of 2021 were all gray,
Correct.
and two of those are the ones that are peeling. And I know of two because I walk by them every night.
Yeah,
There
the one
could
is
be
right out in front
more.
of Graders. I mean,
Right, and
it's
the other
pretty
one's on the
obvious.
other side,
Yeah.
and right in front of the dentist's office.
Right, right.
Those are the street
Those
lights,
are
the big
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
They have the
But
traffic
the
lights
point
on
is-
them.
traffic,
Yeah,
right.
right.
But the point is, they got painted, and
Yeah.
the quality is not.
By the all
It's-
static pro people,
Yes.
and, yeah. I
How
think all we're
many-
really doing is just asking them to come and take a look,
Sure.
and is there something that can be done,
Or should be done.
or should be done? Yes.
Well, before they do any more.
Before they do any more.
So
Yeah.
how many do we have unaccounted for?
This
or
is
unadopted.
80
Unadopted, I think there were 26 adopted out of the 109. 109 metal that needed to be painted.
Okay,
And how many were adopted, Randy? 26?
26, and I haven't checked, I haven't followed me with MPF, there could have been a couple more that came in.
And so the adoption process, silly, goes through MPF? I mean, so
Yeah,
when,
yeah, it goes,
so
yeah,
when
it's a
somebody,
501(c), it goes, as part of this intent.
okay.
So does that mean, so there's like 77, if I'm counting right, that, now is this all of the streetlights in the village then?
Yes. No, it doesn't include the
All
Cobra
the-
style.
Cobras, yeah.
That, because if you look back, a lot of them are Cobra style, and clearly those are different. Those are the quote-unquote historic streetlights. Now, there's two in Dale Park that they're talking about not including in the plan. Clearly, those things cost like
They,
MPF
Okay.
redoing the dogwood, or the statue. They're like $40,000.
Oh,
So
they're-
they're
yeah,
very
they're
expensive.
expensive.
So
Oh, wow.
we clearly want to keep those and potentially put them somewhere else.
No.
Okay.
because there are a couple of Cobra lights back on Miami Bluff, if memory serves me correctly.
Oh, the pendant
At the-
style.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
I
so,
think there's 12 total.
okay.
There's Miami Bluff, and if you go on West Street by the school, and those look worse than the other lights.
But are they included in this, these
Yes.
numbers here? Okay. Would you
Now, I
mind?
can't tell you, those pendant lights down by Charlie Thomas, the Thomases, that was adopted. They adopted it early. And he
Is that
couldn't
why it's
paint
got the yellow
it. That's why it's
thing
been,
tied around it?
it's been on there since.
Well,
But they didn't, their ladder wasn't tall enough. I can't tell, I haven't been back there. I can't tell you if they did it this week or not.
It was not done as of Saturday,
Okay.
so,
yeah,
I
given-
doubt they
given the-
painted
given
today.
The weather and stuff, I don't think so.
yeah.
So the second component to this is to try to convert to LED, because the painting is $250, so it was $500 a light. So the idea was the other funds would be used to convert to LED and to replace some of the lenses that are really yellow,
The globe.
the globes.
Yeah.
And when you look at them, I've spoken to a bunch of people, you can't do anything. It's changed the structure of that plastic, and there's nothing you can do about it. So we actually had a conference call today with Stress Creek, which does the King Luminaire, to convert to LED. When we calculate it, it'll save about $4,000 a year in electricity costs.
That's awesome.
Because you'll go from 200
But-
watts down to 40 watts. And it points down, and if you go in front of at Oak and,
Chestnut.
where
At the square.
Lockhart's are.
Yeah, that's Oak and Elm.
Oak and
Elm,
So
yeah.
there's a new one there, if you want to see what it looks like. It points down.
Right.
You know, because there's this new night sky initiative where municipalities are not supposed to have light to point up.
Right, right.
And I really think it looks nice, but we don't know. It's pretty expensive to convert to LED. That's going to have to be a long-term project.
Well, do them as we can, you know, I mean,
So, do we, yeah, I mean, I guess that would be a question, do we do them as we can? Is there gonna be a significant difference in lightage or appearance that people are gonna be like,
well, we tried to, the LEDs, you know, we kind of went through that little business, you know, somewhat of trying to get that color right. You know, LEDs come, you know, in a vast color range, and you don't want to get that stark,
Blue,
brilliant white.
yeah.
We want a softer kind of a thing. And I think I mean, the last two that I looked at, I think we're pretty close.
They're a lot better than
Yeah,
they
they're,
used to be.
yeah,
okay,
They really are.
yeah,
So
so,
I urge you to go check it out. It points down.
yeah.
And we had the conference call today, that apparently they have the LEDs where you can get little tabs on them, so it doesn't point into someone's house.
Really?
Because right now, we put diffusers on them.
Yeah,
And duct tape.
yeah, that's right.
So,
Okay.
so the one that by Lockhart said has been changed, how was that came to be changed, what was that process?
so that was Julie Lockhart. And so Julie Lockhart, Greg Long, and Bill DeCamp are kind of the group that's working on this. And Bill's in the light business, the bulb business.
Yes, he's a bright guy,
So Julie connected with this company called Stress Creek.
It had to be
which-
done.
Which does all of this. And Stress Creek gave us that light and said, check this out.
oh, okay,
Because
globe.
The whole.
Oh, the whole
unit,
head.
The whole, if you go look at it, it's a little different
Okay.
than what we have.
Yeah.
So that whole head is different than what we have.
Okay.
So that whole assembly goes on there. Now, Bill DeCamp, on the other hand, what he's gonna do, he's gonna retrofit. What do we have right now? Get a pigtail with
Well,
snap in.
get the socket,
Yep,
the
yep,
bulb,
yep.
the new bulb fits into, and the new Lexan globe will fit down and, you know, around a kind of a thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's gonna do that, he's supposed to get that done for the other corner on Oak, so we can look at that. Because his cost is, I think he can do his for about $100 a light. That's without new lenses. The lenses are pretty pricey.
Yeah, well, he's actually working on that.
Right.
So this is all going through, I mean, who's leading the charge on this? Oh my gosh, I did it again.
You mean who's lighting the way?
Who's lighting the way?
Currently,
Hey, Randy, whose bright idea was
Currently.
this?
I know it's bad.
so this started with the Centennial, with the idea of people adopting a street light, so we could get them updated.
Okay, so the people that have adopted a streetlight know that the plan is to paint it and to look at changing it to LED.
Correct.
Okay.
And potentially lenses. I think when we first started it, I don't think we underestimated how many of the lenses were really bad and needed to be replaced. We calculated every third one.
Yeah.
Based upon, and if you walk around and look at them, there's really only a handful that don't need to be replaced.
Yeah.
Okay.
And when we started, the cost of those globes, was really just through the roof. And Mr. DeCamp really has been out researching and working that, and I think now he has a source that, makes this way more doable to replace just about all of them that need to be replaced.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I will ask them to just give us a report with your recommendations. And
That'd be great.
We'll get together and.
Cool, thank you.
Okay, so
I'm out
we
of
need a motion
puns.
and a second to approve the spending
Oh,
requests.
okay. Yeah, so we need a motion and a second then to approve these spending.
Do we do it one by one, or?
And when you do your motion on that last one with the streetlights, we'll need to approve as amended. We'll need to take out the vendor.
Should we do that separately then?
However you want to do it. You could say approve all three, but on the streetlight, amend it due to the fire hydrants and the
Company.
and the
Vendor.
company.
Okay, can somebody make that motion?
And we just don't want to say static all pro
At this point.
at that point.
Right.
Yeah, we don't want status, yeah, because if we end up changing a vendor, then we're stuck. So I'd rather take off static all pro. I mean, we may end up using them for all of them, but, if this is going to take weeks, if we end up changing anything. So take out the vendor, and then we will add a different account line for the fire hydrants and a different amount of $7,500 for the fire hydrants.
I could just do a separate one, and we can do that next week, or.
Okay, well,
Because there's
so
no
just take
rush.
off-
They just had.
take
they
off the
just had
fire
time.
hydrant
Yeah.
line on this one then, and then
Just
that
cross that
will,
out and cross out the vendor, and
yep, that'll work.
so I move we approve all three spending requests as amended.
Second.
We good with that? Are we okay with that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Ms. Gelbaugh?
Aye.
Dr. Lewis?
I was paying attention.
Mrs. Rankin?
Hi,
Mr. York?
Aye.
All right.
like I didn't tell you beforehand, Ed.
I think we all pretty much get it. Yeah. All right, let me see if I lost my place here. All right, permission to address council.
Do you want to do the financials, which was right after?
Oh, the financials, yeah, you're right, I'm
Yep.
sorry. I did see that, yeah.
Yep.
Yes, we do have, one last item. We have the January financials. Richard, go.
Yeah. The only thing I just want to point out in the financials, when you're looking at the appropriations, January was still on the temporary appropriations, so when you're looking at the budget, that's going to be the temporary budget, because we didn't pass the permanent till February. So it may look a little odd because it's low. So just wanted to point that out.
Is everybody good on that? What page is that on, Richard, do you know?
The appropriation status?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what
Okay,
report
all right,
they had there for.
okay. Is everybody good? Do we have any other
Yep.
questions?
Yep.
Good, good, good.
All right. Now, permission to address council. Apparently, we have no one here tonight that wishes to address council. All right, any question regarding the bills? Motion to pay the bills. We've all looked over the bill sheet. fairly
good.
straightforward this time.
Do you need a motion to pay the bills?
We need a motion to pay the bills. please.
So moved.
Second.
All right, Ms. Gelbaugh.
Aye.
Dr. Lewis.
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin.
Aye.
Mr. York.
Aye.
All right. All right, I think we have one committee report.
Yes, and due to the fact that we don't have two signatures on the report, we're going to have to move it to the next meeting.
All right, sir. That's what we're going to do.
So it's not appropriate for me to sign this.
Well, I
I knew what they were doing, and I agree, but I wasn't at the meeting.
Oh,
don't think that's good procedure.
Okay, so there's nothing time sensitive on this.
Well, no, not like end of the world.
Okay.
We do want to launch as soon as possible, but not, certainly isn't an emergency, unless you make it one.
well, so you're hesitant to sign because you weren't at the meeting, but you...
I just don't think, I don't,
I don't think that's good protocol.
yeah.
Okay, yeah. No, it's, well, like you said, there's no
I mean,
urgency
for
here,
that,
per
I
se.
could have Tom sign it for
Yeah,
that.
yeah. All right. Well, we'll move to, we'll put it on next time. All right, under miscellaneous, let's not forget, we have the outstanding citizen nominations that are due by March the 16th, which is coming up here. Get those nominations coming in. Just remember, I can't be a candidate.
So what about, like, significant others of council people? Are they excluded? Not that I'm nominating him, but
You know, that's an Ed, I don't know. I mean, do we?
No, they're fine.
I think that's totally fine.
I think it would be okay because it's voted on by past winners. It's not voted
Oh.
on by us.
You know, we don't actually vote that, so.
Right.
So I think you can.
Right, but still,
Well, anyway.
Appearances.
Whoever has them or wishes to turn them in, you know, they come into Mrs. Van Pelt at the office. And like I said, March the 16th is coming up, so let's be thinking. All right, Arbor Day. We finally have decided on Arbor Day, and I'm kind of excited about this year, too, because this is going to be, I think, you know, in conjunction with our centennial, so on and so forth, it's going to be April the 28th, and it will, yes, what's the matter, what's with the huhs? It will be at the intersection of Worcester Pike and Oak, just off the Lich Gate there. And as I understand it, we might be putting in a red oak. Yeah, so I think it's going to be a very nice gathering. I want to get, you know, some children out there. I really like this Arbor Day business, so mark your calendars.
marked. What day of the week is that?
Friday.
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 Okay, you ready?
All right, starting with the resolutions.
This is the second reading, resolution creating a new fund for opioid settlements.
See you, Bob. All right, that's the second reading, third reading next time.
Okay, this is the second reading, resolution to update swimming pool fees and to include non-resident Mariemont School District membership fees.
All right, that's the second reading. Now, y'all remember, these are second readings, so if you have any questions, remarks, or anything to say, this is the opportunity to do it. Okay, I'm just reminding you.
Okay, this is the third reading, resolution to update 2023 season rates for the garden plots. I said third, it's
You said
second.
third, you mean second.
Second.
Yes.
Okay, this is the second reading to confirm the reappointment of Christopher M. Ertl as village engineer for calendar years 2023 and 2024 and to set compensation. Okay, this is the second reading to confirm the reappointment of Alyssa Wendler as part-time IT administrator for calendar years 2022 and 2023 and to set compensation.
Did you say Alexa?
Alyssa.
Okay. I mean, it's a beautiful name, I just want to make sure.
Could have.
Okay.
She's all right.
Yeah, okay, sorry. Maybe
Siri.
yeah.
This is the second reading, a resolution authorizing the village administrator to enter into an agreement for retail electric service provider through the Center for the Local Government Electricity Consortium.
All right.
This is the second reading to authorize adoption of a premium-only insurance plan. And this is the second reading to accept bid of J.K. Muir Corporation for 2023 resurfacing of 4 tennis courts to authorize contract.
Okay. And now, I mean, this is, we're all clear on this, right? I mean, like I said, we had the first reading, it's a special meeting, it's the second reading to go ahead and get the contract, authorized to resurface tennis courts. Please.
Have we addressed the drainage issue?
Well, yes and no. I mean, Chris I believe he has set an appointment with JK to come over and look at it with them. Is that your understanding, Chuck? Yeah. And I think that was going to happen on this coming Thursday. Yeah, okay. So that's where we kind of are with that.
So are there concerns that well, I mean, we have the amount appropriated, that's that. But what if we come back and find out there's a,
Well, I believe the way that it would work is that if it comes back and there has to be additional work done, that would basically be an add-on to the contract up to a certain amount that we appropriated at the last meeting, correct? Am I
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah, it would be a change order, I think
Change
is what
order, change
Chris
order, yeah.
said, yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
We should have that
Before the,
for the next, the
correct.
third.
Yeah, and that
reading.
was
So that
part
would
of,
be
I
easy
think,
to
the
just
discussion, yeah.
Put it together,
Yeah,
and you've already appropriated the extra money too.
Correct. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, I just
Yeah,
didn't know
yeah. Until it's sort of,
if had that advanced at all.
yeah, until they come over and they make an assessment, and they take a look and so on and so forth, it's just about the best we can do,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Okay. But one last thing. Assuming there is no issue, as I understand it, though, we are on schedule so that the work then resurfacing could proceed.
That's my
Yeah,
impression
yeah,
from
yeah.
Chris.
I mean, is that,
Right.
That's how it works.
well, yeah, I mean, that's, okay, and we don't want to hold this up any more than we have to, per se. Okay. Sorry, just want to get that in there. The ordinances.
All right. This is the second reading to delete sections 150.01B5 and 151.075 H2K1 of the Mariemont Code of Ordinances.
Okay, Rod, can you help us out here? This is the ordinance that's within the building code, correct? This,
Yes.
please. I mean, just so that everybody understands here what we're,
There's two back-to-back, right?
yeah, it's 2 back-to-back, yes.
So there's two ordinances that came from Marcy's group that dealt with urgent and historical code changes. So one of the changes dealt with removing the provisions that said that historical doors, garage doors in a certain area of the village needed to be 16 panel doors. And there was 2 references in the code. One of the ordinances strike that out. So by default, then people will evaluate garage doors as the rest of the criteria that the ARB uses to evaluate, which is consistent with the architecture and spirit of the village and all those other words. So it eliminated the specificity of the garage doors. The second change was I think it's section I, also in historical code, that basically said that you could replace roofs.
H2I.
Yeah, you could replace any roof on an existing building, historical district, if it's not part of a group with what exists today. That's how it could be interpreted. I wouldn't say that was really the intent of it, so what we've done is just simply delete it. May not be the cleanest, it's the cleanest thing to do. As we look at rewriting the rest of the historical code, we'll probably clean it up, but it's causing more problems than it's worth.
Yeah.
I don't know, Marcy, if you have more to
I
add.
think this technically came out of economic development and zoning, not rules of law. It says on the ordinance, rules of law.
Well,
I don't know if that's an easy change or,
Yeah, I could change it.
okay.
What came out?
It says whereas the Rules and Law Committee,
Committee.
and it didn't come out of Rules and Law, it came out of Economic Planning and Zoning.
is that something we can just change without getting a new amendment?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, move to amend the report to say that it came out of,
Yes.
Okay.
what did you say it came out of?
Economic Planning and Zoning. We did it way back when we did the demolition ordinance.
Why did it come out of that?
Because it's zoning. Because it has to deal with the historic district.
Okay.
Because I'm working, that's in my committee to redo that code, so it kind of makes sense to have me work on it.
Yeah, why don't we,
Plus-
why don't you amend it though to show the proper committee that it came out of? That's my fault. I probably just presumed it came out of rules and law.
All right, so somebody.
Well, it gets confusing because, what's the law, what's zoning? I'm on both committees. I mean,
So do you want to make?
Motion.
Give me a second.
oh.
Second.
Who-
Do we
who-
have
My,
a
my
motion?
motion is to change the
Yes.
wording on this ordinance from the Rules and Law Committee to the Economic Planning and Zoning Committee. That's my motion.
Hold on, we're doing it on both of them, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
It says it on both of them,
Yes.
yes.
On any page in this ordinance where it says Rules and Law Committee, to change it to Economic Planning and Zoning.
Oh, he's back.
Actually, it wasn't Ed's fault, it was my fault about the wrong committee.
Ah, come
Oh,
on,
what
Ed,
a
I'll take it.
stand-up kind of guy.
What a stand-up guy.
He gets me confused.
Yeah. All right, so the motion is to change it on both ordinances?
Yeah.
Yes, okay, so we're clear. And did I have a second?
Yes.
Second.
Yes. All right, Ms. Gelbaugh?
We got two-
Aye.
Dr. Lewis?
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
All right,
Sorry I didn't catch that last time.
okay. Well, second readings, we'll have the third reading next time.
This is the second reading to repeal ordinance number 0722 pertaining to maximum pay rates for all grades of recreation employees and to enact new legislation pertaining to maximum pay rates for all grades of recreation employees.
All right, any questions? I guess we're all good. All right, go on.
This is the second reading to amend ordinance 02922 of the Mariemont Code of Ordinances to increase payment for employees.
All right.
Okay, this is the first reading to amend Chapter 79 of the Mariemont Code of Ordinances relative to traffic schedules and to declare emergency.
All right, we've had the first reading. I need a motion and a second to suspend the rules and allow for a second and third reading.
So moved.
Second.
Second. Mrs. Gelbaugh?
Aye.
Dr. Lewis?
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
May we have the second reading, please?
To amend Chapter 79 of the Mariemont Code of Ordinances relative to traffic schedules and to declare emergency.
Okay, so this is the second reading. Any questions? I mean, it is spelled out here rather well.
No left turn.
Yeah, the no left turn and a bunch of other markings and things. It looks like we may have to be buying some additional signage for all of this.
Right.
But we're not changing any directions.
We can't turn left onto Worcester for Plainville.
Off of Plainville,
Oh, yeah, I know that. That's the big one.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
During
so-
restricted hours.
Yes, during restricted hours. And then the signs are what is going to be placed in Columbia Township on Plainville Road and in Mariemont. And I mentioned in the past, when I gave the report, we are going to purchase the signs, but Columbia Township is going to be, maintain them. So we're not going to be paying the cost to maintain the signs that are in Columbia Township.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
All right.
And they're just going to be, saying there's change in traffic, but it's all written out. But-
Yep.
Sorry, that was my daughter.
All right, may we have the third reading, please?
To amend Chapter 79 of the Mariemont Code of Ordinances relative to traffic schedules and to declare
She
emergency.
can't, if you don't pick up, she's going to text you.
Are we dinging over here?
That's with teenager. If you don't pick up the phone, they're going to text you.
I need a motion and a second to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Mrs. Gelbaugh?
Aye.
Dr. Lewis?
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
All right, I need a motion and a second to evoke the emergency clause.
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Gelbaugh?
Aye.
Dr. Lewis?
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
All right, that'll do it. All right, well, geez, we're really doing well tonight. Do you want to quickly, anybody have any comments about, are we doing task, or are we doing, we're not doing tasks, are we? We're
We
doing,
did tasks last time.
I did a task last time.
Just ask if anybody has any verbal reports.
anything verbal report-wise wish to add?
I go over the pool stuff real quickly.
Be my guest.
So we finished our interviews. We had over 30 kids apply, which was great.
Yeah.
We,
Mostly all local Mariemont kids.
There's only one that's not local.
Oh, my gosh, that's incredible. Yeah, that's
So-
For how many
fantastic.
positions?
Oh, it covers everybody.
So
So
you'll
he-
hire all 30?
Probably.
Well, yeah, you need backups,
Yeah,
because
because we
people
need
go on vacation
backup.
stuff,
And
yeah.
they've got soccer and
Yeah, I know.
tennis and vacations and all that stuff. Great group of kids. They were very impressive, and I was really impressed with Mike and how he kept everything going, so I'm very happy about that. We have a contract written for a head coach for swimming. We have one of the assistant managers is going to be taking on the task of the swim lessons. He is a swimmer. He's worked at our pool before. We're really happy about that. He has not signed anything yet, so I don't really want to say what his name is. But the other, so I just want everyone to know that everything's moving forward really well, and it's great, and I think we're going to have a really good summer. So we're really excited.
Awesome work, Leah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
really good.
Fabulous.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's going to be fun.
Sorry, I have a delayed question. Getting back to that, we're going to open up the membership to the pool to a larger group of people. How is that being communicated? I'm sure this has been asked, but I want to clarify.
Well, what we had thought about doing is, until it's we go through the third reading, we didn't want to put anything out there yet. So once the third reading goes through, we're going to put it on each school's, they do a monthly, announcement letters and stuff. So we'll put all 3 schools will get, well, in Terrace Park too, will get the announcement to be put on their website. We're going to have, and I'm not positive about this part, I haven't talked him into the picture, but we're going to put something in the town crier and announcing and introducing Mike and Morgan, who's the swim coach,
Okay.
to the community. I did ask that they put a picture in, but I'm not going to guarantee that. They don't really want to. But just to tell them what their background is and, just say, everything's going to be a little bit different this summer. Excuse me. That's a frog in my throat. So we're going to try and get that in, we're going to try and get the thing into the crier for the April publication, I believe, because I think we have to do it by March,
March
15th.
10th.
Yeah, something like that.
She moved it up.
Did you?
It's the 5th, it's Sunday.
Really?
What?
Ugh, we may not get it in, because I just talked to Mike about it, and I'll call him back and see if we can get it in for April. But,
And then you and I need to talk about the certification class
yes,
and
Yeah.
some kind of document, and we need to get Ed's opinion on
Yes.
this. So
yeah,
we can do that.
Of the kids that applied, there's about 15 that need to be certified. Mike has talked to one of his contacts, and she's willing to do a group, a kind of a bulk class. A lot of the certification is online. They just take tests and quizzes online, and then they have to be in the pool for a part of it. And she's going to do it all at once, and she's going to give us a reduced rate, but we've been talking about possible, maybe having the village pay for the certification and then have something written that if we do pay for it, that if they were to quit before the end of the season, that they would have to reimburse us for
Most of them are minors, so aren't they?
they're all minors, yeah. So I had talked to Richard about it, and that's kind of the rub, is if we can really do something like that with minors.
Not really.
So, we'll see.
I mean, Daddy said it.
Well, that was one of the things, like,
Or something to communicate, these are our expectations.
Yes,
Clearly, we
yes.
can't hold them to it, but.
yes. It's one of those things, though, that I have to say that most of these kids can't drive yet, and so they can all walk to work, and so nobody has to take them and drop them off and do all of that stuff. So, I was really impressed with the kids that showed up. They were well-spoken, they were polite, they were good kids.
Well, that's
So,
okay.
good.
And the pool work will be at the high school?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. All right.
And then we need to circle back on the to-do list.
Yes.
Rich and I met, and we just need to put in a requisition for the funds
Yes.
and decide, I think there's a vacuum we need.
Well, I'm not positive about the vacuum, because we can't get it, we couldn't, when you guys went over, they couldn't get it in the pump room, which is where it would have been. So we have to get a key made, we need to get copies, and so Chuck and Bill have a copy of the pump room key.
Oh, I have one now.
Oh, you
No,
do?
I think we both do, I think, yeah.
You have one
Do
too,
you?
Chuck?
Oh, okay,
I don't have a set.
okay,
Well,
yeah.
if we could, can we get Chuck and we need to make a couple copies of all of those, so that Mike has a copy. Mike needs a full set of keys.
Right.
Chuck needs a full set of keys. The firemen have a full set of keys, right?
Yep.
Do you have the pump room door key? Okay, cool.
I think on the vacuum though, I think they need a new one. It's my understanding that if there is one down there,
It
talking to the kids last year, that for that one to work, you have to put bricks on top of it.
Oh, well, that's not
So
good.
it's not getting a lot of suction. Because it should just automatically, when you have a vacuum, the suction will make it hold.
Stick to the bottom of
And
the
you,
pool.
yeah,
Yeah.
and you do it. So if you know, they're putting rocks and bricks on it, I don't know that it's all that effective.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
So we just need to circle back on
Yeah.
that, so maybe we can get that requisition done by the next council meeting.
Yep.
And- Okay.
Because we do have to buy the lift batteries. And we talked, Richard and I talked today about like doing the ice chest, and they're like $200, but we still need to get one because the chest that we had last year it's broken. It stopped working, and then the buildup of all the ice and stuff, it was a mess. But we don't need one that's as big as what we had down there. So,
Any other items? Any other items? I can't believe it. This is fantastic.
I got one more thing. No, just kidding, sorry.
Would you please do
It
it?
should come from that
Wait,
seat.
All right,
wait,
we're
hold on.
I
adjourned.
know.